Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of ClueCon Weekly. Joining us this week is Kishor Hemnani, project manager at Ecosmob Technologies, a longtime partner of Singawar and a company I've worked with for a long time. And well, thank you for joining us today, Kishor.
Yeah, so hello everyone. My name is Kishor Hemnani. I have been working with Ecosmob since last 5 to 6 years. But if I talk about my telecom journey, I have started my career around 2011. So like it is 13 or 14 years. So yeah, and initially we worked with the traditional PBX, ATA devices, the card-based systems, and all those GSM gateways, DSP-based and ARM-based gateways for the calling. We use the PRI and other technologies. So from the support profile, I moved my career to DevOps, and then I got an opportunity to work in the different web-based projects. So recently, from 5 to 6 years, I have been working in different projects, and I have been using the open source tools like Asterisk, FreeSWITCH, then Big Blue Button, Jitsi, OpenShips, Camelio, and whatnot. Like whatever requirements are coming to us, we generally check the tools and then bundle them in a solution.
Nice, yeah. So, you know the telephony, you've been here for a while, so you know telephony has gone through a few phases. At the start, I started around 2009 in the field before I was doing high throughput computing, at the time, everything had to be physical servers. Like if you try
Right.
to run asterisk with FreeSWITCH on something was not real iron, people will tell you, no, it will never work. It's missing this, it's
Absolutely.
missing that. It is, and then we've gone up to phases. So virtual machines came, then containers. And I'm curious, what's your favorite stack right now? Like, what are you running applications on?
So if we talk about the favorite stack, so right now mostly all our applications are in on FreeSwitch. And if we talk about the technology stack which we have been using so far, for front end we have been using Angular and React, and for the back end we have been using Python, Node.js, and recently we also started with the Golang.
Good, yeah. So the Golang is it's interesting. It's a language that should be used more in telephony. It's very quick. It's portable. It's very interesting as
Yeah, it is
a
very
stack.
lightweight, and we can use it for the microservices.
So have you been using Kubernetes at all?
Yeah, we have started using Kubernetes from 5 to 6 years back, and
Oh,
at that time it was kind of a POC or R&D. Now we are also using that in our production environment, like in AWS or GKE. So in Google also we are using that.
good. So and what were you using before? Docker or no container at all?
Yeah, so before 5 to 6 years, every deployment was done on the traditional way, right? Like somebody was taking Git pull on the system and then checking whether the update is done or not. So what we have done gradually, we have developed the CI/CD pipeline for web, for the backend, so that like whenever a commit is happening at that time, the CI/CD process will start and then the deployment will be done. So fewer customers were also using the traditional approach, but then we encourage people to start using the Docker. So in CI/CD, we also accommodate both the things like traditional, and at the same time, we also package the web applications into the Dockerized way.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think the Kubernetes adoption has been a little bit of a tricky. Has been a bit of a tricky path for a lot of companies in the area, especially. It's a bit.
correct.
It is a bit.
So mostly for
Yeah.
the RTP related applications where we need to expose multiple port range, it is a bit difficult to fine tune the Kubernetes. But for web application, we can definitely use Kubernetes in cloud or in our on premise.
Yeah, the that's really a good point. So so Kubernetes is always about more than the platform itself. The platform is a bit complicated. So I think the hardest part for me has always been managing deployments, managing configuration, etc. Do you use any kind of CI/CD pipeline, and what do you use internally?
Right. So in CI/CD, we are using Bitbucket, and definitely Bitbucket is not the only one. We can use any other tool like GitHub or any other thing. So then Bitbucket is integrated with Jenkins. Jenkins is managing the CI/CD, like it is the heart of the CI/CD pipeline. Then it is ultimately integrated with your code quality analysis tool like SonarQube or something. And once everything is completed, then we can deploy the things in either bare metal machine, or if it is cloud or Kubernetes, then using Helm chart or something, you can deploy that in Kubernetes. And if it is like only Docker or in a traditional machine, then using Ansible or something, you can deploy the same.
Yeah, it's always uh, problematic to manage, especially the build and container phase. So it's really. So I'm curious, how long did it take you to truly adopt Kubernetes? You said you started around 5 years ago. How long did it
Right.
take until Kubernetes was really active inside the company?
Right. So it took me, like personally for me, 2 to 3 years to do the R&D, and then because from the beginning I had been working in this voice technology from the telephone, right? So web applications were working fine on Kubernetes, but for telephony things like Asterix or FreeSWITCH, we had to do a good amount of R&D, and then gradually we are moving.
Good, yeah. It's. I feel like that's the curve. Like every guest I've had, I've asked how long it took you to truly run Kubernetes. It was a year and a half, 2 years, 2.5. It's always false in there. Like it's never less. And it is just what it is. It's a complex platform.
Yeah,
Does bring a lot of benefits, but it's really complex. So
yeah,
now that
that's
we
right.
know how you run things, I know you've been building a very interesting application on FreeSWITCH with streaming audio to AI and machine learning engines. So I'm really curious about how that works. What's the project?
Right. So we are actually developing a product for one of our customers, and it is in the healthcare industries. So their call center agents will be using this ultimate transcription. So how we are doing, like whenever a call is happening using FreeSWITCH, we are using a mode audio stream. It is again open source module to fork the streaming. So that mode audio stream will start the streaming part from FreeSWITCH to any AIML engine on WebSocket like WSS URL. Once we will stream those RTP packets to AIML engine, then there may be different kind of applications. So if you are developing your own, then you can use Whisper or something to actually do the transcription. If you are using any available like deepgram or Google or Microsoft, then you can just use that WSS URL and pass the RTP stream to them, and again on the back end they will give you the transcripted text file.
Oh, so you're effectively doing bring your own transcription too.
Right,
Using
right, right. Right,
because
because
the
nowadays people are leaning more towards AIML things. So we are also having one AIML department who's actually building this solution. And at the same time, if some customers are already using DeepGram or Google, then we are able to do the streaming and then get the transcription done.
and well, how long did it take you to build the project from the start?
It is a multi-year project, so we have
Oh
been,
wow.
yeah, we have been working with them since 6 or 8 months, and the POC is done, and the phase one is also completed. Now we have been started working with the phase two, and so the first part was related to the basic transcription. In our roadmap, we will be doing the sentiment analysis and the translation as well.
Nice. It's and are you using anything in particular for AIML? Is it a proprietary engine? Are you using any product in particular? Just curious. If you can
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, definitely. We can say that because again, we are using open source only. So we are using PyTorch and TensorFlow as well to train our models.
Oh wow, you have your own models.
Yeah,
That's insane. It's Well, then I have to ask, how
Mhm.
how big of a team do you need to train your own model? Like, how many people do you have working on that?
You won't believe we are having only 3 to 4 experts in our AIML team.
Yeah, you probably need very good people. You don't need a lot of them. You just need
Yeah,
geniuses. Almost that is really
right.
it's
But yeah, they have been working with us since long. So yeah, they are expert in telecom, and at the same time they are also good in AIML things. So they know how to design a product for telephony which actually integrates with the AIML and helps this healthcare industries or other industries.
And what are the application of this? Like you said, it's in healthcare, but can you make some examples of what it's going to be used for? Is it for
Yeah,
example, for doctors to augment the diagnosis or something else?
right. So first, if I will tell you, then the first is transcription. Like in Google Meet, we can see whenever people are speaking, you can get the transcription done. So similar thing can be done. Then the translation. So if somebody is speaking in French and we need to get the transcription done in English, then also it is feasible, and we have been doing that. Uh, Voice biometrics, it is a good example. So if you want to operate your home automation system using your voice only,
Oh,
yeah, so that AIML engine can actually understands your tone, the pitch, and all the frequencies. And if you are asking it to unlock the system, then only it will do. Otherwise, it will not do that. So these are multiple use cases.
yes, yeah. There's a lot there. Another thing I've seen is helping agents in other fields, like not necessarily healthcare, where the agent is on a call with a customer, and in the meantime, there's the interface is pulling up things as they come up. So if I'm asking you to change my flight, automatically there's a box to the side in the UI that's changing flights. That's these are the questions you need to ask. Or even
Right.
it will populate a form and then you just click on, okay, so Luca want to change his flight from today to tomorrow. The form already has the correct date, and the agent has to say, okay, I approve that, or not approve and say whatever it's correct. But
Yeah, that's
it's really
correct.
being
Yeah.
a,
Once you
and do you
will have the transcription ready, then definitely you can design a modular architecture and utilize those transcription by any APIs and showcase it to agents or anybody, right? So transcription is the main thing.
nice. And well, what were the challenges with using FreeSWITCH to build RTP streaming? Did you encounter any snags, things that people might want to know, or did it just work?
Yeah. So earlier we tried with SIPREC, because again it will also help us to do the thing. So like we were using SIPREC, and for the media server we were using the Drachito. But there was one limitation. I think the people are still working on that. We were not getting two different channels. We were getting only one channel with both the voices, like mixed. But our customer was requesting us to give the two different channel, one for customer and one for agent. So that was the main requirement, and that's the reason why we started using mode audio stream in FreeSWITCH.
Good. Yeah, the SIP rack is interesting. I've had some experience with the SIP rack, and it's never easy to get it to work quite right. It is to me, it feels like SIP rack only is really works between legacy large manufacturer equipment. Like if you have Cisco's and you're to do SIP rack from one Cisco to another, great. You have Ericsson, whatever. If you're trying to do that in a more modular way, the standard is not really very conductive to it. It's
Correct.
signaling is not correct. It's weird. So direct RTP is probably the way to go for sure.
Right. That is
So when
true.
are you rolling the product out? When is it already being used? Is it going to be, and how many people are going to use it?
Yeah, so phase one is ready, and again, we are developing this product for one of our customer, not for Ecosmob. So phase one is already developed, and they are doing the beta testing. If we talk about the scalability or the number of concurrency, we have done around 150 to 200 concurrent calls with 8 core 16 GB machine, and it is working quite good. And we are also planning to scale up by increasing the resources. At the same time, we also need to do some fine tuning at the module and in the free switch.
Oh, that's Good. Yeah. The concurrency, that's concurrency in those areas is always not easy to, is always not easy
Right.
to achieve. There's a lot of resources that they need to come together. And yeah, actually, what has been the most challenging thing in scaling up the service? Like, because as you know, what I used to say, I always say is, if you stand up a FreeSWITCH or really any telephony service, making one call is super easy. Like it takes you 15 minutes to get one call. Your
Correct.
phone rings and you think, "Wow, I'm an expert now." Now you gotta get to 1,000 calls, and that's where the fun begins. So, what were the challenges in scaling FreeSWITCH and scaling the system in general?
Right. So we have been using FreeSWITCH since long. So we do have all the parameters ready with us, like what we should be using in FreeSWITCH, how to do fine tuning. Like there are some kernel configuration parameters like sysctl. There are some ulimit, then the open file connection. Then if it is also communicating with database, then how you will fine tune your database connection. So these are some nitty gritties which we need to understand before we design any architecture for such a large audience, right?
Thanks. Yeah. And do you use anything to front FreeSWITCH like Camellio or an SPC, or since this is mainly an application server, are you not using that?
We are using OpenShips as the dispatcher.
Yeah, OpenShips. Good. Yeah.
OpenShips,
It is a well, I think Camellio or OpenShips are all the good choices. It's really a good,
right?
really always a good way to. Well, I think this and well, how many sorry to go down the scaling route, but it's always interesting. How many
Mhm.
zones do you plan on serving? Like, do you have different areas where this will be scaled out to, or is each installation sort of its own thing because it's healthcare? Because I've seen both, or is it like a big cloud where everybody will be using the same resources?
Yeah. So the product which we are developing, no, it is not a SaaS product. It is a PaaS only.
Mhm.
So it is limited to a certain enterprises. So what they are going to do, no, they are going to distribute this product to a couple of enterprises only. So we do know how many concurrent calls are required. So accordingly, they are going to distribute that.
Yeah, makes sense that you mainly do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
If it's enterprise only, there's less of a need to scale. And
correct.
well, a few things. So, how do you manage privacy coming to AI and ML in the healthcare industry? Like, is it because nothing is leaving the system? You're effectively compliant, right?
Hmm. Right. So, from the privacy point of view, like the product which I was talking, no, it is kind of a on-premise only. So the communication between the AI/ML engine and the free switch will be done using your local network only. So we are not exposing anything which we are transferring from free switch to the AI/ML engine. So we are good in that. But yeah, definitely, if in future we will be developing something, then definitely we'll have to manage the security. Like there are many ways, SRTP is there, then TLS. So yeah, we will have to make sure.
Yeah, it's interesting how with the advent of AI, companies have almost forced to go back to more on-premise stuff. Because up to today, you could use cloud services for some things, but for limited cases like healthcare, you do need to run sort of locally or on very secure channels. So you need private connects. For example, SignalWire, we have developed a whole set of products around direct connects to large healthcare and government offices, so they could still run on portions of our cloud, but effectively it's their cloud. So there's
Oh.
no share. There's nothing is shared. We just manage the machines because SignalWire is a big, complicated beast with a lot of services.
Mhm.
So there's no point in them running it, but we can manage it in a way that we don't even see what's in the communications. We have multiple clients. We're using encryption where we're not able to actually look at the logs. If there's a problem, they go get the logs and send them to us through a secure service, so we can look at what happened. That's it's all security. So it is.
Yeah,
There's a lot happening where we're slowly going back, interestingly, to.
correct, correct.
Well, speaking of AI, I'm curious because it's always comes up. Are you also working with companies who are doing full AI customer service agents, like replacing call center agents with AI, or is that not happening yet?
Not yet, but yeah, we are looking forward. If any opportunity will come for such things, we'll definitely check how we can contribute in such things.
Do you feel like it's going to happen soon, or is AI not ready yet for full customer service? Like you never speak to a human, you just talk to AI.
I don't think the time is right now, but yeah, it may come soon.
Yeah, I think so. Singapore has a very good AI agent. We focused on really doing the AI stuff very well for AI agents for voice, and we got very good results actually. But I feel like it's very useful for some use cases, but then
Mhm.
sometimes you have to drop down to the human. And still, I've seen, and that's probably something you've seen too. What you do is you can use AI to reduce the number of calls to get to humans.
Right.
I work with a
My
company in the UAE. You know, in the Arab Peninsula, every time they have to
Mhm.
deliver a package, they have to call you before because they have no addresses. So they have to confirm you
Right.
still live there. And
Mhm.
these people just do the calls using AI. And since 80% of the people say yes, you usually haven't moved your house between, between one delivery and another. The
Mhm.
remaining 20%, they just go to an agent. Like if your address has changed, they don't try to collect your address with AI, which addresses and names are terrible because they're not words, so it's
Mhm.
super hard to get.
Correct.
Instead, they just go to an agent. That has reduced calls by 80%, though, which is a lot. So there is some good stuff happening, and I think
Yeah,
open source
absolutely.
models and proprietary models like yours is going to be very, very effective in the area.
Right, right. So you rightly mentioned there are certain use cases where we can use these bots and reduce the amount of work which actual humans are doing.
Yeah, it's and also honestly, you're just putting those agents to work better because frankly, having
Right.
to be on the phone and making calls and just saying yes, click, yes, click, yes, click, isn't great. So it's a way to make work more interesting and more more valuable for people. It is a good position to have. Well, I think that
Mhm.
there's a lot here. I'm really interested in your proprietary ML models and the proprietary LLM models. So one
Yeah.
day you'll have to bring one of your geniuses on an episode, and we'll ask them the questions
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
ask
sure.
because there's always a lot of proprietary stuff in there, but it's is it based on any existing, or they're doing everything from pure scratch, like using the data set? I'm just curious.
So, if we are talking about the system, then we are right now we are using NVIDIA GPU machine, and as I mentioned, we are using PyTorch and TensorFlow. There are other modules for the transcription, as I mentioned, like Whisper. We have been using to get the transcription and translation done. And yeah, there are some custom code written in Python, which we have been using to do the accuracy.
Nice. It's so GPU. I want GPUs too. It's hard to even find one at the moment. It's really
And the
it's
use
really
case which we were discussing, no, like there is one more use case, like if customer and agent are speaking, then once the transcription is done at the end of the call, we can get the sentiment analysis done for that call, so that we can understand how the customer was speaking, how was his or her mood. So on the basis of that, if any specific training is required for agent, or if any incentives can be done to that agent, that can also be achieved using this.
that's good. Yeah, the sentiment analysis I think is going to be one of the first areas where AI truly makes a breakthrough because we always had sentiment analysis, but it was just looking for words or sentences. Or now that you can truly understand how the client, the customer is speaking and saying, and it's much more nuanced. It's very, very effective. What I've seen
Right.
is many companies do monitoring right now. So
Hmm.
you have human agents on the phone, and there is a global monitoring that monitors the sentiment for every customer that's on the call at that moment. And managers can jump in if someone is upset, but it's not only upset. You know why? Like used to be that okay, so this customer is not happy. What do we do? But now you can even
Hmm.
know this customer is not happy because the subscription is too expensive.
Hmm.
And then you can't do anything about it. So maybe the manager doesn't even join, right? Because that's the price. So you don't join.
Correct.
Another person is upset because they had a problem, like their phone isn't working. Then you jump in because you're actually there's something broken on your there's something broken on their side. There's a lot there that is really, really, really useful. Well, I
Right.
mean, Kishore, thank you so much. It's always great to meet an expert. It's always great to meet someone who knows this area. AI is moving fast, and I have to say, Ecosmob seems to be doing something different and very interesting. Like there's with the global engine, Kubernetes, and all that, very, very interesting. So I'm curious if you can show me something more in the next few weeks or months. I'd be super happy to take a look. As an
Right. Right.
AI I'm an AI, I don't know, enthusiast, not even an expert. I like the technology. We've done a lot, but we have true experts at the company who build the actual stuff. I'm just someone who likes AI and likes how it works. And well, again, Kishore, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Kishor Hemnani, project manager at Ecosmob Technologies, joined us today. We talked about AI, FreeSWITCH, RTP, a lot of things. And well, check out Ecosmob, check out the products. Looking forward to hear about the healthcare product in particular. And well, thanks again. And for the
Thank
rest of the
you.
people, I'll see you next week. Goodbye.